Morning. Today is Friday, the 15th day of Kislev. And we continue in the Kuntres Acharon, the last part of the Tanya. We're about almost finishing the book of Tanya. And this is a good time to remind that everyone we're going to restart the Tanya from the beginning next week. Yutis Kislev, the special day, Chag HaGeula. We're also going to have a Siyum, celebration of the completing of the Tanya, next Tuesday night in the Chabad house. Everyone is welcome to join, and also, of course, make sure to join here at 9 o'clock every morning and listen to the YouTube and subscribe and share this with friends. So today we continue what we started, the sixth essay in Kuntres Acharon. We started yesterday, and we're talking about the King David called the Torah songs and praise of Hashem, and he was punished for that. And Alter Rebbe was asking, why was he punished for that? So first, yesterday we explained, what does it mean that he called the Torah the praise of Hashem? We explained that the King David was in circumstances that he had to run away, and it was places that he was fearful from people that were after him. And when he realized that the Torah that he has, studying the Torah, the entire world depends on one tiny bit of the Torah, is the whole entire world is nullified to one tiny detail of the Torah, because the Torah is the source of everything, the entire world. So when you think about the great universe, the world, and everything what's included in it, and yet it is all nullified to one tiny bit of the Torah, tiny detail. And we brought examples yesterday in the class regarding the offerings that we bring, regarding the writing of the tefillin. When we wear tefillin, every little detail is important. And if one little detail is missing, you don't draw down this godly energy to this world. And so therefore, King David was so happy, was so ecstatic, seeing that, knowing that he has the Torah, and he calls it Zmiros. Your laws were my songs in the place of where I was fearful. But he was punished for this. Why was he punished? What was wrong? What's wrong with that? So the Alter Rebbe today is going to answer. And the answer, in short, we're going to say it outside, and then we're going to look inside what the Alter Rebbe says. In short, what the Alter Rebbe is saying is that, yes, the Torah is the source of everything what this world has. And one tiny little bit of the Torah is nothing, the whole world is nothing compared to one tiny bit. But this is only a very external part of the Torah. The Torah really is much, much deeper than that. So when you when you make a statement that the Torah is the praise of God for this world, it's sort of a humiliating what the Torah is all about. Why? Because the Torah is much, much deeper. It's like telling, praising Einstein that he can say that he knows that 1 + 1 = 2. Just to use an example. I mean, what you're praising him? Wow, this is what he knows. Yes, he knows it, but he knows much, much more. The Torah is much, much deeper than that. That the whole entire world is nothing, that has no significance at all when you're comparing to the very essence of the Torah. And he's going to explain that the Torah has the exterior part and the interior part. The exterior part is connected with this physical world, but the interior part of the Torah, the inner part of the Torah, is much deeper, and this is something that is connected with the neshama, with the soul. And Alter Rebbe also is going to explain why was the punishment connected to forgetting, connected to the calling the Torah songs. Because of that, what was the punishment? That he forgot a law. What law did he forget? That the Holy Ark should not be carried on a wagon, should be carried on the shoulders. So this the Alter Rebbe is going to explain what is the connection. So let's look inside and we get to this explanation. Said the Alter Rebbe, Achma shehoya mishtabeach b'sehilas HaTorah b'ma'alosei zu ve'oma zmiros oyu lichulu nena shal zeh. However, it says, for exalting the Torah with this quality, saying your statutes were songs for me, he was punished. And Hashem said to him, you call them songs? And why? Well, what's wrong? So the Alter Rebbe explains, Mishum shebe'emes ma'alosa zu, this quality of the Torah, shekol ha'olam es beteilim legabe digduk echad mimena, that all the worlds are nothingness compared to one detail of it. He mibchinas achirayim shel oimek hamachshava. This is but the hind part, the externality of the profound supernal thought. As this is explained elsewhere in the name of the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luya, Al-Maimar Azal, on the teachings of our sages, the sages say, Noivlo is Chachma Shalemaila Torah. The Torah is the withered visage of the supernal wisdom. Noivlis means something that drips down, something that comes from externality of something. It's not the inner part, it's not the essence of it. So the Torah that we have is only the Noivlis Chachma, only the external part. Aval Pnimis Shebe'oimek, Shu Pnimis HaTorah, Hi Meyuchedes Legamre, Be'oiren Seif Baruch Hu Amelubash Betachlis HaYichud. It says, however, the innermost core of the depth of the supernal thought, which is the innermost core of the Torah, this is utterly fused with the infinite Ein Sof light that is vested within the Torah in a perfect unity. That the Torah, the inner part of the Torah, is like one with Hashem himself. So we're talking something way, way beyond anything we can comprehend. Relative to the infinite one, the worlds are as absolute naught, sheer nothingness, non-existent. As we say every morning by davening, you were the same before the world was created, you are the same since the world has been created. That means the world did not cause any effect, any change in God. That means that takes no significance. That world that we are so impressed with, compared to the very essence of God, is like it's non-existence. And therefore, so therefore, it says the internal aspect of the Torah too, which is wholly united with God. The Torah, the internal aspect of the Torah, is completely united with God. And therefore, it is not at all to be lauded as being the animating force of all the worlds. You can praise the Torah saying, oh, the Torah is so great that everything, the whole entire world comes from the Torah. That's not a praise. Because for relative to the internal aspect of the Torah, they are reckoned as nothingness itself. In this inward aspect of the Torah, there can be no moral, heartfelt joy and delight. The heartfelt joy and delight that we have is only what we feel as humans. It's something which is very external part of the Torah, but the internal part of the Torah is not something which is a mortal joy. Elo kaviyachol simchas lei v'sha'ashua melech hakadosh baruch hu shemishta'asheh bo. But this is rather, in a matter of speaking, the heartfelt joy and pleasure of the King, the Holy One, blessed be He, who delights in it. So to speak, that Hashem, it is something so deep, so high, that Hashem, so to speak, plays. This is His delight. For only God understands its ways and knows its station, and its quality. And how is biyadias atzmai kavayachol? Through His self-knowledge, as it were. It means knowing Himself, He also knows the Torah, that is entirely one with Him. Avonel momene kol chai. This, however, is concealed from the mortal eyes. That part of the Torah is concealed. And this, says the Alter Rebbe, is the meaning what it says in the Torah. As it is written, the face, meaning the innermost dimensions of the Torah, shall not be seen. This, as it explains in Arizal, by the name of Arizal, that talks about the innermost part of Hashem, says this is the meaning of the verse that it says, and I was a delight unto him. Unto him. Who is unto him? Unto God. The Torah was a delight unto God Himself. Etzloi davke. Specifically unto Him. And there's another verse also that says, Mesachekes lefanav. Likewise in the following phrase, which describes the Torah as causing God delight by playing before Him. What is before lefanav? Lefanav also has the meaning of inside. Lefanav davke. The verse specifies the term before Him, for this refers to the inwardness of the Torah. Concerning this innermost level of the Torah, it is written, I was his Aman. What is Aman? Aman means one who is nurtured. But the Medrash comments do not read Amen, but Oimen. Oimen means one who nurtures. Why? Because this inner part of the Torah nurtures the neshama of a Jew. The external part is connected with this physical world. It is with reference to the hind part, the external aspect of Torah, that it is written, and in this verse, the Torah describes itself as playing in the world, His land, and my delight are with mortal men. So that is talking about the external part of the Torah. And he explains, because the Torah was given in a state of both inwardness and externality. As it is written concerning the flying scroll of Zechariah. This is a prophecy that the prophet Zechariah had, and it was written from front and back. That means that a scroll is something that has both a front and back. Now, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that this is the reason why the punishment of King David was forgetfulness. Why? What's the connection? So he's going to explain the forgetfulness is something. What do you forget? You don't forget something that is really important to you. You wake up in the morning, you don't forget that you have a wife and you have children. Minor details that are not so important, you may forget. The in part of the Torah, the inward part of the Torah, is something that is, if it's connected with something, that there is no forgetfulness there. You become one with this. So that is why the punishment of calling the Torah songs, being that the songs is not really the inner aspect of the Torah, it's only an external part of the Torah. That is why this caused him forgetfulness. And also, what did he forget? The laws about the Holy Ark. What is special about the Holy Ark? The Ark what was in the ark? The tablets, the holy tablets. There was something special about the tablets. And that is that the tablets did not have a back part. It only had the front, the inner part. Meaning in the tablets was miraculously, you were able to read the tablets from both sides, from the front and the back. There was no back to the tablets. Because why was this miracle? This miracle was an expression of the fact that the tablets, which was the 10 Commandments given in the God's hand, represented the innermost part of the Torah. And the innermost part of the Torah has no back. And when you carry them, the ark, how were they supposed to carry? They were supposed to carry it on the shoulder. And when they're carrying on the shoulder with the rods of the ark, they didn't turn the back to the Torah. They're facing the Torah. And their shoulder represents the back. That means that you have to take the back and turn it into the front. This is what the Alter Rebbe concludes here with this beautiful explanation about King David. Says the Alter Rebbe, since David seized upon and praised the hinder part of the Torah, the external part of the Torah, he called it the song. He was punished with forgetfulness, which derives from the attitude of externality. Something that is external you can forget, something that is internal you don't forget. And thus it became momentarily oblivious to the verse concerning the ark, that the sacred service is their duty, on the shoulder shall they carry it. And what is the idea of carrying on the shoulder? Is lechaber uleyachid esaktefayim sheimchinas acharayim, in order to combine and unite the shoulders, which are akin to the hinder part, with to combine the external part with the sacred service, which is the supernal wisdom, which is also called sacred, in a manner that reflects the inwardness. Shemisham nimshechu aluchas shebe'oren, from this state of inwardness, the source of the tablets in the ark is the source of the tablets in the ark. Kamoshekasav, as it is written, ksuvim mishnei evreim chulu, that the tablets were written on both their sides. There were no back part. Kamoshekasav b'Yerushalmi deshkolim shelo yoyis b'hem pchinas panim ve'ocher ayin sham, as explained in the Jerusalem Talmud, tractate Shekalim, that the tablets did not have any front and back, panim ve'ocher. They were entirely panim, signifying pnimius. They were signifying the inwardness. So the purpose of the carrying the ark on the shoulders was thus to connect the external aspect of man with the inwardness of the Torah. Ayin Sham, look in there. So what we take from this lesson today is the fact that when we sit down and we study Torah, obviously we're not in the level of King David. So even when we get to the level of calling it song, praise of Hashem, how the Torah is the source of this world, that's also a great level. But in the same time, we should realize that the Torah that we study has so much more to it. The depth, the deeper part of the Torah, that the entire world is nothing compared to the Torah. And this is feeding, nurturing our neshama. That great inner part is nurturing our neshama. So this is the end of today's shir. Again, thank you for joining. Mitzvah Hashem will continue Sunday. And don't forget, we're going to conclude the Tanya this week. And we'll have a siyum on Tuesday night. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Any questions we can take now?